An alternate universe, Cold War, espionage, puzzle space adventure. Even with a tagline like that, it's still difficult to truly grasp just how much Vertical Robot put into Red Matter 2. What makes it so difficult is that Red Matter 2 can stand shoulder to shoulder with the greats of VR like Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks, and Lone Echo. I described Red Matter 1 as a space-themed escape room that had a strong story, but was let down by its voice acting and anticlimactic ending. However, in Red Matter 2, any criticisms I had of the first game were improved upon. Even things I didn't think need criticism were improved. Voice acting was phenomenal, with the addition of a voiced player character.
A surveillance camera. It's scanning the room.
Oh, that's not a surveillance camera. It's an automated defense turret. Be very careful not to enter its field of vision. What's it doing out here?
New puzzles were a blast, and the addition of combat was a perfect choice for this adventure puzzle game. Firstly, the visuals. My goodness, they are great. You travel from the moon to Saturn and later to Neptune, stopping at space bases hidden in moons and asteroids. Every time the scene opens up to the next location, I was in awe of the absolutely stunning vista in front of me. Why more VR doesn't do space is beyond me, because this is absolutely incredible. The moons, the planets and their rings of dust and ice, the great abyss of space and its sparkling stars and galaxies, all of it was gobsmackingly awesome to see. And then there were the interiors of the bases, the brutalist structures for the faux Russians and the sleek retro-futurism for the faux Americans that just works so well. Ah, look at this. Hard asteroid surface on there. Brutalist structures. Such great architectural choice. Gotta love the Russians and their style choices sometimes. On top of that, quest items and objectives you have to interact with are large and obvious, which is exactly what you want for an adventure puzzle game that exists in large spaces. And speaking of large spaces, the movement controls were improved. Smooth locomotion is the primary method of movement, but teleport locomotion can be selected in the settings. All the comfort settings you'd expect for VR are available in the settings. As such, I'm certain everyone can enjoy this game, regardless of how strong their VR legs are. Controls were great, and I didn't have any issues with interacting with the world or my tools. If you're using the Vive ones though, you'll have issues doing one and only one action in the game, which is to vent your gun when it overheats. But it doesn't get in the way of the game, and thankfully other controllers like the Index or Quest controllers won't have this issue. And playing the game is a great joy indeed. Puzzles were improved upon from the first game with the addition of many new ones, some of them including piloting a small remote-controlled blimp. In any flat-screen game, this would have been a pain, but with the added dimensions from VR, it's actually a lot of fun. Having the eureka moment from puzzles never really gets old. Oh, I can just stack the books upright. As each puzzle was its own beast to tackle, and some puzzles are beasts. There were some puzzles that were truly tricky. So we're looking for a single test tube. Oh, wait, pull one out. But I loved every single one of them. And loving the game was an easy thing to do. Characters in the game are well written, and it's easy to put yourself in the boots of the protagonist, Agent Sasha. It is unauthorized ID, but we don't want this one. Interactions with other characters are mostly through radio communications. However, at 2 points in the game you talk to floating heads, which are just projections thankfully, but they sit smack in the middle of Uncanny Valley. I'm gonna see a face in every one of these hollow things. A little creepy if you ask me. Hey. They look great, but their faces emote like robots and the lip sync is off, especially with any word that has the letter P in it. Thankfully, the floating faces are used at the start of the game as a tutorial to catch the players up in the story. The biggest addition, however, is combat. Vertical Robot has added a gun in the form of a retro-futurism laser pistol, which is as cool as it sounds. It's also a handy tool, and I was using it to shoot buttons to open doors from afar. In some cases, it's also the solution to puzzles, though the shoot-to-solve puzzles tended to be much simpler than the other challenges in the game. The combat against actual enemies, however, was really difficult, and I found myself dying a lot there. Enemies dodge constantly as you aim at them, and later enemies are not shy to charge you down if you hide yourself behind cover. I felt that the projectile speed for the player was a little low in comparison to how fast the enemies can move, but I have it on great authority that Vertical Robot would tweak combat for the release version of the game. The story for this epic adventure game is a great story. I found myself 100% engrossed in the world, and I was finding and reading every bit of lore that I could find, just so that I could grasp more of its story.
Go to the back room, stay on the mats. Yeah, there we go. Oh, okay, this is a flat dayless, but the fact that it works when you stand in the correct position is pretty cool.
Some sections of the game were terrifying, as there's a long-running theme of cosmic horror in the game.
Just there's good, thanks.
Coupling that with a world-ending device means that our agent has actual agency in this game, and reason to solve all these puzzles. However, at times I felt the story could be a little bit predictable. However, it is still thoroughly enjoyable. If you've been waiting for another VR great, or you've been itching to show off your VR games to friends, family and internet dwellers, knowing that it will wow them, this is it. You can get Red Matter 2 on PC VR and Quest.